Who doesn't love a triple scoop? But getting a little something extra is always welcomed. That's what we've got with this week's indicator. Also included is an air of mystery, but that Frank Zappa song started creeping into my head again. You'll see what I mean shortly. Our showcase jewel for this week is something called Lemantrend. It's a nifty little tool that gets its data from price and then filters it for a smooth finish. How does smoothing help an indicator signal? There are indicators which react quickly to price action and therefore reverse direction, sometimes too quickly to be helpful. This is where a smoothing function can benefit. Granted, we all love a fast C1, but it needs to be useful. For instance, we'll take an indicator with the smoothing function and remove it. Not great for picking out signals, even though it reacts to price very quickly. Frankly, you'd be hard-pressed to get any traction using an indicator that responds with this kind of frequency. Now, we'll enable the smoothing function to compare signals. Definitely preferable, wouldn't you say? This is now a tool that's been tweaked and useful for signal identification. Sometimes faster isn't always better. We're going to point out one other interesting feature some of you may have picked out when noodling around with this indicator. If you've already read the blog, you'll probably guess what we're going to mention. Check out the default values in the variables of the settings menu. Do they remind you of anything? If you guess that they're all Fibonacci numbers, you're right. Plotting the Fibonacci series begins to create a shape called the golden rectangle and is found throughout the natural and synthetic world. Starting from 0, it spirals out to infinity. There are Fibonacci functions built into the MT4 platform, including retracements, expansions or extensions, fans, arcs, and even a time-based choice. While Fibonacci numbers are indeed very intriguing and provide hours of thought-provoking intergalactic brain food, we're going to ignore them here. Sorry, not sorry. Oh, and before we forget to mention it, this indicator is a below chart, 2 lines cross, confirmation indicator. Now, don't stress because we're leaving the default fib values for this analysis. They're just numbers to provide us with a starting point. Maybe the coder thought they may have stumbled onto some universal insight by plugging in Fibonacci numbers, or not. Messy hair, don't care. We never leave things alone anyways. It's in our nature. Oh, one last thing before we get to the analysis. You can ignore the 0 line and the upper and lower boundary numbers. We're only interested in the 2-line cross. We'll pick it up here with this long signal. Looking at the past few weeks, price has been flat, so let's creep ahead a bit and see what's going to happen. As we all probably suspected, the market kept going sideways for almost another 2 weeks. We'll see if this long signal has any gusto. Yeah, that's the ticket. We had some great movement to the north side. Price reversed with some strength, and as a C1, you'd have given back a few pips, but if you had a decent exit indicator in your algo, more of those precious pips would be in your pocket. Let's see where this strong move down takes us. It took us nowhere. Total loser. Unless you were using your algorithm, then you'd have ignored it and been looking elsewhere for opportunities. Now the long. Alrighty, that got us some pips. That exit wasn't too bad as price looked like it flattened out a bit. That was a nice low stress ride downtown. Great profits for the Tahiti trip. You'd have been watching this one for nearly 7 weeks if you were using it as an exit indicator, and probably about 5 weeks if your exit indicator took you out of the trade during that flattened price action. After finishing up that flat price action, we had a delightful little pop to get us into profits on the first half of our trade. Naturally, that exit signal would have taken out our second half at break even. But if you notice where price topped out for a few periods, a decent exit indicator may have been quick enough to get you out a bit sooner. Either way, pips for your account. That was a definite maybe. Depending on the ATR from the entry, you may have either booked half the trade or noted a loss in your journal. Whatever happens, stick to your rules. We had a bit of the market flim-flam there and, notably, a definitive change in price as an immediate short signal popped up. If you happen to be in the prior long trade, then we chalk up that loser and look to the short. There was a nice price drop before the retracement where you'd have booked some profit with your exit indicator, as this indicator signal came somewhat late having to wait until it caught up to that flat market. Another pleasant run up for some profits. And somewhat of a meh trade. Not really enough movement to get us into profits here. Now the long on some momentum. Let's see where it gets us. That was a quick run up for some pips before the reversal. Ouch! Ugly. You'd probably have never been involved in that whipsaw with an algo, but as an indicator test, it's a definite loss. Let's see what that strong move up brings us. That powerful long gave us a much needed momentum to elevate our trade into Profitville. We haven't received an opposite signal yet, so we're still in the trade, but you'd be watching it closely over the next couple of days. So, applause-worthy? It's got some definite possibilities, especially when you check out the blog to see how we did on our unbiased benchmark testing. Just don't expect any special groups of numbers. We post what we get, and they're not even close to the best we saw. It can be yours at the low cost of nothing from the Stonehill Forex Indicator library, so you can find your own special group of numbers. The link is in the video's description. I had something very clever to say, but we're trying to steer clear of an R rating. However, the message is clear. No financial advice to be had, whatever the accent. And frankly, it's not really anything you need. You can do this yourself, and we're here to help. Our only goal is to make you a better trader.